What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relay reverse rants, no hate. So, I want to talk about Canelo Alvarez versus John Ryder. Now, Canelo got the job done. Pretty much punished John Ryder like I thought he would. Um, you know, because John Ryder just basically is never fought and really did much with anybody of that caliber. I mean, I remember seeing the Daniel Jacobs fight. There's a couple other fights I remember seeing him having. Unless Canelo slipped, like where Canelo's just downhill, which I'm about to get into. Like, if he slipped that much where John Ryder could, test him, that would mean that Canelo is just like, it's time to pack it up. Now, I saw a channel. I don't know if this guy's trolling or what, but he actually said that John Ryder got robbed and that Canelo basically, aside from the knockdowns, did nothing, and that if anything, the fight should have been scored a draw. But he think that Ryder did enough to win. And at that point, it was just like, okay. Yeah, okay. I said that to say this, because other people see a lot of these same videos, and I don't have to justify shit about me with a comparison. But my thing is, for what I'm about to say, I'm going to say exactly what I mean and what I see. So I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. So for the idiots that actually tell themselves that Canelo lost that fight, cocaine is a hell of a drug. And that's all I got to say about that. Now, there's not much to say about Ryder other than he showed tremendous heart, as a fighter should. That's what you get paid for. He got dropped twice, and when it looked like pretty much he probably was done, he just kept going. Now, salute to him, props to him for, going in there and fighting, not laying down and pretending he can't get up and continue, or scared to continue, and he, fought with a broken nose as well. So salute to him. And after that shot where he got dropped to, with that punch and he got his nose broken, you could see his punch output lessened and he was less aggressive and more defensive, of course, to, prevent getting hit in that nose any further. Now, let me just say this about this fight. We're not going to go into this face of boxing stuff. I really don't care about it. I spoke about it the other week because we were talking about basically, the elements that would have you consider the face of boxing. So I'm just going to say this. This fight was in Mexico. It couldn't hurt Canelo. This is where he started. He went back to his country, where he's actually from, and and was able to bring this fight there. Of course, it's going to be a packed house, okay, and a pro Canelo crowd. Now, he didn't have to fight in Mexico for it to be a pro Canelo crowd. But bottom line is, other than the people that came with John Ryder, unless there's just people in Mexico that don't like Canelo, which is possible, because hey, people just don't like people for whatever reasons, for whether legitimate or not. Legitimate reasons or not. But nobody was talking about this fight. In fact, there was people that didn't even know Canelo fought yesterday. I can't see this fight being in America and having a sold-out crowd, simply because John Ryder is no star. Nobody knows him. Canelo's star power isn't what it was. And I doubt very seriously that this pay-per-view even did. Listen, he fights on the zone, right? I doubt. I don't listen. I don't know what the numbers were, but I don't believe at all that 500,000 people tuned in to watch this fight. Let's put it like that. I doubt it very seriously. Now, when the numbers do come out, if they decide to release how many people, the viewership or whatever. I don't know what the number would be, but I can tell you, even just from watching Canelo interviews, there was a time where anything Canelo related, easily 160,000 views in, like, 5-6 hours. Now 5 or 6 hours go by, 7-8 thousand, stuff like that. And I told you guys that a couple of months ago. Like, I'm noticing it's a lack of interest. So now when we talk about that changing of the guard in terms of who's the face of boxing, well, I don't know. And again, we're not going to get into that. But what I'm saying as far as Canelo, it would have been embarrassing for a guy to be undisputed and have a building that's like, have a lot of empty seats. But due to, the card itself, it was just weak. Nobody was talking about this fight or this card. I remember telling a Latino that Canelo was fighting. That Canelo's fighting? Are you serious? Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Then went on his phone. Oh, who is this guy, John Ryder? I don't know him. Yeah. Okay, that being said, people, look, Canelo has done what he's done. Nobody needs to get in their feelings and, yeah, but he did we know what he's done. It has nothing to do with what happened last night. What it has something to do with, and look, now people can say the wear and tear in his body, he's not the same fighter. I'm going to explain something to you. Canelo Alvarez has been fighting this way for a long time. One punch at a time. Canelo has never been a high volume puncher at no point in his career. What Canelo has, when he catch you and he think he got you hurt, then he load up on you. Canelo has always had fights where he would have stamina issues. Okay? Look at the way he fought Kovalev. Same thing, just walking in, being patient, one hard shot at a time. He depends on his power way too much. You saw him fight Gennady Golovkin in the first fight, where he was on the back foot and boxing, and he said, I learned from Floyd to take less shots, less punishment, and to be more, have a balance of offense and defense. And that's the one time when you've seen him fight that way. Otherwise, Canelo has always been come forward, walk you down. For some reason, people are saying it like the way he fought Golovkin, like that's the way he always fought. No, he fought that one way that night in the rematch. Remember, Golovkin was talking about he wanted to fight Mexican style, right? But then he was on the back foot. This has been Canelo, walking people down, taking his time, throwing one punch at a time. Canelo lets his hands go when he see he can get you and you can't get out the way. Otherwise, he just one shot at a time and he throws his shots hard. One shot, 1 or 2. One shot, 1 or 2. That's what he's been doing. I've been saying this for the longest. If you watch Canelo, right, his patience, break you down, upstairs, downstairs. He said he felt great, no problems, no issues. Now, I'm hearing a rumor that he hurt his hand again. Don't know if that's concrete or not, but I heard that he hurt his hand again. Now, he said that he felt great. He said he's going to be around for a long time. He's not going anywhere. People, he beat up Ryder. That was by design, that they gave him that opponent. Or he selected that opponent, should I say. Because he's going to look spectacular. That's what it was. I want to look great. I want to look like a world beater. I want people to see this and go, ooh, he punished that guy. Even in him punishing that guy, it just goes to show you how far below this guy is to Canelo. Because that Canelo that I've seen fight against John Ryder is not going to beat Bivol. I feel like they can fight at 168, 175. Bivol's going to beat him again, and probably worse this time. what the illusion is, okay, is an actual reality that people basically turn it into a perception of he's back. Okay, he's back. Oh, did you see what he did to Ryder? So now you'll have people thinking he's going to do the same thing to Ryder, and then you're going to forget what happened the first time. This Canelo can't beat Dmitry Bivol. For him to beat Bivol, I feel like Bivol have to just be off. If Bivol's on his game, on his A game, he beats Canelo every time. Canelo can't beat him. You can't turn the clock back. And if people are impressed with what they saw in Canelo to the point where they think that he's going to have the same success with Bivol, they're going to have a rude awakening. He's not going to beat Bivol throwing that, no combinations, one punch at a time. Bivol's too strong for that. Bivol's too sharp, too smart. And basically, he said that he wants the same deal, same terms as last time, which means they're not fighting at 168. It'll be 175. Why? I think Canelo feel like, look, 168 or 175, I got just as good a chance at 175 as I do at 168. And guess what? It makes sense that they're fighting at 175 for this reason. If you had beaten Bivol, he wouldn't give him a rematch. No. The goal was to go up and then get another world title at 175. And he failed at that. So, in fairness, he's not doing Bivol a favor. Bivol beat him. Now, even though he's still a more popular, more world-renowned fighter than Bivol is, this whole point is still, he beat Canelo. So, Canelo's not doing him a favor. Okay? He's doing, like, if they were going to fight at 168, then it would have to be for all the straps. It would have to be for all the straps. This is where this franchise championship thing, it allows you to do things and get away with things. Because, for example, if he gets beat by Bivol after Bivol beats him again at 175, guess what? He's still the champion at 168. Now, does he go from getting beat by Bivol to finally jumping in with Benavidez? Because that's the fight everybody wants to see. So, my thing is, if he's not going to fight a Benavidez, then who is he going to fight at 168? David Morrell? Who else? Demetrius Andre? Who's he going to fight? He said Demetrius Andre is a horrible fighter. He, I don't, unless he changes his mind. But who else is he going to fight at 168? Because that's the fight everybody wants to really see. I believe that not only the fact that people think that, feel like Benavidez earned it. I feel like most people, regardless to what comes out of their mouth, deep down inside, they know, like, man, the chances of him beating Bivol are slim and none. Bivol will destroy Canelo. This is what you're going to see from Canelo. One thing you can't cheat is Father Time. So no matter what you work on in the gym, no matter how much you try to do, this and that, if the difference, like, see, Anthony Joshua's situation is different because it's not physical deterioration. It's a mental thing with him. Canelo never had good footwork. He's always just been a guy that just walks in. Everything with him is side to side, move his head, lean, turn. And then he tries to, even sometimes he'll turn and counter and stuff like that. But nothing that he did as bad as he beat this dude up. Nothing that he did impressed me enough to think that he'll beat Bivol. He was able to do that with John Ryder. So that should have been expected. Now, my whole thing with the fight itself was that, it looks good when you have a packed house. He had a dope entrance, and yeah, I mean, the people cheered for him and get behind him, but it wasn't even the same energy, man. And it's like, for Canelo, that fight's out the way. So everybody wants to know what's next. Well, he said Bivol. When have Canelo ever fought since he has been in the spotlight and nobody knows that he fought? Like, very few people know it. Like, nobody's talking about this fight today. So this is basically just, look, Canelo, nobody stays on top ever. Canelo's star power is dropping. Skill wise, what I seen from Canelo is the same Canelo, but I wasn't impressed. He beat up a guy he was supposed to beat up. We seen Gennady Golovkin do the same thing. He fought a guy and beat the guy up, but I wasn't impressed. It was just like, yeah, he was still just that much better than that guy. But at the end of the day, right now, what Canelo has to deal with now, if he's focusing on his face of boxing stuff and wanting to be that guy, okay, cool. But for you to continue that, now the fans that say Canelo's at a point he can fight whoever he wants, all that nonsense, bullshit. For the people who want to see quality fights, well, for you to continue to be the face of boxing, even if you lose, well, winning is gonna, you can't be the face of boxing and start losing fights, keep losing fights, but you're gonna have to fight the Benavidez. You're gonna have to fight Demetrius Andre. You're gonna have to fight these guys. Why not? Now, if Canelo was thinking that, okay, win, lose, or draw against Bivol, I'm going to come back down to 168, and then I'm going to fight the rest of these guys that everybody's been waiting for. And, how many times a year is he going to fight? And if he keeps hurting his hand, because, then what? These guys are getting older, and the wear and tear will cause you to be out longer. Okay? I don't think that Canelo, I just don't see him beating Bivol. I don't see him beating, what's the other guy? Arthur Beterbiev. I don't see him beating him either. I think, in fact, his style with that power punching, see, he'll be able to absorb Canelo's shots way better than Canelo will be able to absorb his shots. I don't think he wants to get in there with Arthur Beterbiev either. I think that with him, hey, I commend him for wanting to go back in there and take the rematch. Now, he's saying that he wants it. So, if you hear somewhere down the line that he re-hurt his hand and that now he's going to be out longer, it's going to put a delay. So I don't think that Bivol wants to sit back and just wait. Bivol wants to be undisputed, and he wants to fight against Arthur Beterbiev. So we'll see how that goes. But I don't like Canelo's chances against Bivol. I think Bivol's going to beat him worse this time, because what you saw wasn't ring rust. What you saw wasn't, calculated, a calculated strategic attack. It was Canelo. This is what Canelo is right now. This is what it is, and he's not going to be able to reverse anything. Now, can he add something to his arsenal different? Something like he's being patient, right? Now, for him to pick up the pace and start trying to put combinations together, it makes sense when you have your opponent in those positions. But with Canelo, again, when have we seen him coming forward letting his hands go like that, other than when he feel like he can land the shots? Canelo's never been a really aggressive guy, comes in throwing a lot of shots. He's never been like that. He comes in, he puts that pressure on you. If you go and back up and stay on the ropes, he'll try to punish you, yes. If you get close and you allow him to get too close, and he gets, within your past your guard, yeah, he's gonna rip body shots, rip the head shots, come with those hooks and eat those powerful shots, yes. But he's never been a high volume puncher. And it's like, I'm listening to all these people talking about how to L Canelo through combinations. Yeah. When you have your opponent in that position, and when you see that he had him in his times when he wasn't letting his hands go, it's because he couldn't. And I don't mean because he was like overly fatigued or nothing. I mean, that's just, no. The angles, the reach, everything that he does or was doing, it's because even though he was punishing Ryder, when Ryder was getting out the way and he was keeping the distance away, he wasn't giving Canelo the opportunity. I said Canelo walk you down, and then once you slow down and let him catch up to you, that's when he starts letting those shots go. But this Canelo, what you saw is, I'm telling you, that is father time. That is wear and tear. And see, what's going to be unfair, which is not going to matter. What's going to be unfair is, let's say he does lose to Bivol, which I believe he's going to lose. And Bivol may even knock him out. He goes down back to 168. He fights Benavidez and say Benavidez wins. You know what people are going to say? Oh, Benavidez is fighting a guy that just came off of a devastating loss. Canelo's not the same. He's old now. Now Benavidez has to wear that whole crown on his head of, you beat a washed up old fighter. So Benavidez already beat Plant. Cool. You fight Morrell. Right? You fight Andre. And you build your legacy. But see, that whole tainted thing is what I don't like. Because at the end of the day, you came in there with the straps. Don't matter. You fight, you lose. Now, the fact of the matter is, the way he beat Ryder, for people to anticipate that he's going to show up and fight Bivol and have a better chance at beating Bivol because of the destruction he caused to his face and all that shit. You know, let's not get over. Let's not get ahead of ourselves and start thinking like, you know, he's gonna do this to Bivol too. And you can think what you want to think, but the whole thing is, I see Canelo, his reign is coming to an end, man, and it's gonna have to, simply because if, you know, let's say if he has to fight a mandatory, and I really hope that for the sake of boxing, man, and you know, that they don't pull his WBC or one of these organizations don't pull some bullshit where he has a mandatory, but it's a weak mandatory, just to prolong, for him to hold on to the belts longer. Because the thing is, for guys like Benavidez, just the same way, and see, people don't understand that, right? Not only did he get the opportunity to fight Floyd for his belts, but he took home a big check that day too. So the same way how he got his opportunity at 23, well, Benavidez is just 24 now. It's only going to be worse for Canelo the longer he waits. And if I'm in Benavidez's shoes, they can say what they want. You be the old man. You did. Hey, I've been calling Canelo out for years. It's not my fault that he doesn't want to fight me. Now that he finally gets in it with me, now y'all want to say he just came off of a loss. He's not the same fighter. So now all of a sudden, now you want to, you know, doubt me and try to deny my credibility because you don't want to just admit that there's a new sheriff in town. And that's for anybody, whether it's Benavidez, whether it be Andre or whoever, that, you know, that would beat Canelo. And I think Andre is even older than Canelo. So at the end of the day, you know, we have to use our common sense, man. You know, Canelo was on the downside, man. You know, and even him saying he's going to be around for a long time, that's all good. But that doesn't mean you're going to be around on the top level. And pretty much, if Canelo doesn't fight these guys that he hasn't fought already, you know, if he doesn't do that, and he just keeps waiting, and you know, fighting guys like, just say like the Ryder fight, we know that was his comeback fight, and he said he had surgery on his hand, right? So now you got Ryder out the way. We don't want to see any more Ryder fights. We want to see, you know, I'd rather see, to be honest with you personally, I'd rather see him fight Benavidez. That's the fight I'd rather see over the Bivol fight. Bivol's going to massacre him again, and I think he beats him even worse this time. And Canelo, I believe, is going to understand, because he fights at that slow pace now. He's been doing it. Look at the Kovalev fight. If you watch him fight Kovalev, he fought Kovalev the same exact way. He fight everybody the same way. But again, when these guys get in front of him and they don't do anything, he'll let his hands go. And that's all it is. It's not like he walks you down, cuts off the ring, and then trap you. No. He walks you down, keep walking, and once you stop and decide, okay, let me just stand here and brace, that's when he lets his hands go. Did you guys notice how tiny that ring was? Man, it looked like they was boxing in a freaking shoebox. That thing was tiny. Why? This all was tailor-made to help Canelo look fucking unstoppable. And they know that Ryder wanted to use the ring. And the ring was small. Yeah, the ring was small. And I'm watching, and I'm, okay, cool. It looks good on camera when the crowd is into it. Of course, packed house. You know, you destroy this guy. But I think that most people understand, yeah, he did destroy this guy. He did go in there and beat him pretty soundly. But that's not enough to beat Bivol. Bivol is just going to do the same thing to him again. So, if he loses to Bivol, I can't see him deciding, okay, I lost to Bivol, now I want to fight Arthur Beterbiev. Now, if he was to beat Bivol, does he decide to fight Beterbiev? Who knows? But I think that with Canelo, just from what I saw, it was just like, yeah, he's on the downside now. And so, when you start to decline and you're not the same fighter, but you say that you are, and you saying that you're going to be around for a long time, and you know, you feel way better now, your hand was okay. He said he didn't feel too comfortable in the beginning of the fight because he wasn't sure. Then he says the fight went on, he felt fine. So I don't know if he did re-injure his hand or not, but I did hear that. So I'm just saying, I don't know if that's true. But you know, if it is, there'll be a delay because he wants to make sure the hand is 100%. But the thing with Canelo is you didn't see the face of boxing intellectually, ring IQ. You just seen the guy just trying to do nothing but punish his opponent with just hard punches. You didn't see setups and traps and like just, you know, you didn't see the catch and shoot, parry the shot, slip, feints. Come, like you didn't really see, you just seen him same thing. But this is what Canelo has been doing. So I don't know where people think for some reason that fighters get older and all of a sudden they're gonna start doing things way better. Like, And you know he was tired too. He's really tired. So if he was tired and he was just throwing one hard punch at a time, I mean, imagine if he wasn't there trying to throw a bunch of flurries. So Bivol's in shape. Bivol fights smart. He keeps a tight defense. He can punch. You know, I think it's going to be real bad news for Canelo. He fights Bivol, and you know, don't be shocked, man. Don't be shocked if he fights Bivol after Bivol beats him, that he comes down and try to take who he feels the lesser. Now, when I look at David Morrell, man, I'm thinking this dude is good, man. He's good. I would like to see David Morrell and David Benavidez fight, but I would rather see Canelo fight Benavidez first. Now, let's say win, lose, or draw, however it goes, and then especially if he wins, you know, Benavidez, and then him and Morrell, you know, these are two young guys that could go in there and basically have a rivalry. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, it's just so much. And like Caleb Plant right now is you know, he just came off of that loss, you know, to Benavidez. So you know, who knows? Maybe David Morrell ends up fighting Caleb Plant next. We know Caleb Plant got to fix that stamina issue because it doesn't matter. Caleb Plant can start off and win the first half of the fight, but pretty much he's going to gas out. That's what he's been showing us. And once he gets tired, he gets tired. Like, so, I mean, it's one thing. He had heart. He showed heart. He got my respect. That's fine. That's fine. But at the end of the day, for you to keep your name relevant, for you to stay amongst the elite, you have to win these big fights. So far, you know, he it's not the first big fight that he's won because you know, he's a champion. I forget the name, that weird funny name that I can't pronounce and shit. But like, you know, these are the two biggest fights of his career, and he lost. So, and he fought, put up a good fight in both fights. So I don't, we don't know. I don't know, and I remember somebody talking about, if he loses to Bivol, he should rematch Caleb Plant. No, for what? For what? Why would Canelo fight the loser of Benavidez and Caleb Plant? What sense would that make? I know what that person was saying that for, because they feel like he'll beat Caleb again. And because Caleb is one of the top guys, then it's like people will not bash him for that. Yeah, they will. And rightfully so, because there's no reason for him to fight Caleb Plant again. Caleb just lost, so why would you fight the loser? No, fight Benavidez. But yeah, man, and let me just say one more time, man, that's just what they do with fighters. They come back after a loss, or a long layoff, and then what they do is, or bad performance, even if they win, and they come back and they have somebody just tailor made for them, and they basically go in there and they put a real beating on this person, and then basically this is to set up a potential big fight with another elite guy. But at the same time, the perception that they came back better, or came back like really dangerous, and same person, same threat, same Canelo that fought Bivol the first time. That's what we saw. Yeah, and I tell people, go back and look at Canelo's fights, because a lot of y'all, when y'all talk about Canelo, y'all be saying, like, y'all overlook his flaws or his weaknesses. Like, Canelo, look, you guys remember when David Haye had that layoff and he came back and just ran through 2 meatballs, and so because he got the knockout early, that's what people focused on. But they failed to look at who the opponents was and how sloppy David Haye looked. And I remember saying, I like David Haye as a fighter, and that's what I'm like, man, I don't like what I just seen with David. But he won, he got the knockout, yeah, but he looked wild and sloppy, and because this guy he's fighting is a meatball, he was able to get away with it. And this was in the second fight, his after his layoff, where right before he fought Tony Bellew, and I remember just looking at him like, nah, I don't like what I see with Haye. Pulling punches from behind his back, standing winging shot. I mean, just looked like some amateur street fighting type stuff. It was atrocious, man. And I'm like, nah. And people just feel like as long as you get the win, that's all that matters. No, you got the win, cool. But you also have to, understand that you see what this person is doing good and what they're not doing good. So when I, same thing. When I looked at, Canelo and this guy fighting, I'm just like, So for the people that don't get it, they just won't get it. But for the people that do, you understand that we're giving, boxing news with logic and reason, man. Realistic way of thinking. I'm not sitting there. I have nothing to gain out of just sitting here saying stuff just to say it. And I just don't see Canelo beating Dmitry Bivol. I mean, now, can he pull it off? It's possible. Possible. But do I think he's going to beat Bivol? Fuck no. I think Bivol is going to smash him. I think Bivol and his team is going to look at this fight. They're going to look at the Kovalev fight. They're going to look at the fight with him, and they're going to see whether they may realize it already, but they're going to see this is just who Canelo is. This is his style, and you know what? He's not going to get any better. The most you can do is maybe sharpen up on something. Quickness, the timing, type of thing with just certain things, but like, nah, he's not going to just all of a sudden become faster. He still can punch. He's strong, and don't get what I'm saying wrong. Canelo isn't washed up, but he's not the same. Definitely, he's just, and when I say he's not the same, I mean in the sense of like, he did nothing in his look. He should have been able to get John Ryder out of it. Let's be real. I know the guy was like getting up and had heart and all, but he should have been able to get Ryder out of there. Now we can sit here and talk about how Anthony Joshua should have been able to get Franklin out of there, when we know he never had Franklin in a position where he was about to be hurt. Franklin never even went down. He dropped Ryder twice, and even when Ryder was kind of retreating and wasn't, doing much, Canelo did nothing. He did nothing. I mean, he was just one-dimensional. The whole fight, one-dimensional. And I've been telling you guys this. Canelo's style is, I come forward, and then I depend on you to stop, allow me to come in your space, and let my hands go. That's what Canelo's been doing for the longest. And the reason why I believe he wasn't really turning up as well, too, because I don't think he trusts his stamina either. So there's no way you can sit here and examine Anthony Joshua, Dillian White, Deontay Wilder, all these other fighters, and talk about their flaws and everything. But when it comes to Canelo, the thing about it is it's a part of his style. Like, that's the style he's adopted. And for anybody who have a hard time understanding and processing that, just go back and watch him fight Kovalev. Go back and just look at his fights. I don't care how far back you go. You can go way back to Floyd. You will see Canelo has never been a high volume puncher. So I don't know where the hell that's coming from. But yes, that's what I'm saying. People, what I'm saying is what people are not saying. They're not saying the reality. Just watch. You hear what I'm saying? Go watch him. Canelo comes in, right? And you go back to those ropes, he'll try to trap you on the ropes, and then he'll throw hard shots to try to get in. Okay? You use lateral movement, keep a jab in Canelo's face, and he just keeps coming, but nothing's really coming at you. And he'll like wing a hard shot, try to catch you, but he's flat-footed. He has no footwork. He doesn't know how to get in. He doesn't cut the ring off. He just follows you around the ring until you stop. And that's a fact. It's not my fucking opinion. Watch what you'll see. Go back and look, and you'll see. And you'll go, damn, Aries is fucking right. That's what he does. He comes in, just following, moving his head. He'll slip, try to throw over your shot, stuff like that. But it's one punch at a time. It's not until he feel like he has you trapped. And he trusts his hand speed, and he'll start loading up on shots. Now, we'll see how things go. We'll see what happens. He says that Bivol is next. So, what I think is going to happen is that he's going to go up and fight Bivol. He's going to get beat again. He's going to come back down to 168. And more than likely, if he, coming off of a loss, and especially, like I said, especially if he gets really beaten up bad, or just the fact that his confidence is broken, I don't think he comes back to 168 and goes straight into a fight with Benavidez. I just don't. I think he comes back and takes a tune-up. Now, David Morrell's no tune-up, so, just saying, if he was to win, he still may take a tune-up. Now, if he was to win, his confidence would be sky high. He might want to ride that wave and say, nah, let me go in there and fight Benavidez now. Maybe, right? That could happen. But truthfully, what I see happening is he's going to lose to Bivol. And Bivol can punch as well. Bivol's a sharp guy, very accurate. That's more wear and tear. And I believe he loses to Bivol, and should he come back and decide that he wants to, jumping in, hey, commend you. But he jumps in with Benavidez, he may wind up going through the same shit where he wind up, getting beat and just in here feeling like, man, start to feel defeated, and lose to Benavidez, whether it's by decision or by KO, by TKO, whatever. I just see Canelo's reign starting. It's coming to an end, man. It's definitely coming to an end. You also gotta understand something too. Canelo gets hit. People talk about how impeccable his defense. No, he slips some shots. Yeah, he'll make you miss some shit and it looks smoother. But Canelo, he gets hit. And the one thing you got to always understand too about a guy who that come forward style is that when you're one dimensional like that, man, you can't help but get it because you're always right there. And then now, like I said, he'll get hit or he'll turn his head from the shot and then like try to come over top of your shot with his. And a lot of times with Canelo too, like when he gets hit, you see him chain come on and all that, and he'll go lay on the ropes. Canelo can take a punch, and we all know when you have a sturdy beard, yeah, you'll wind up just getting hit. You're not worried about it because you feel like you can take it. Look at Joe Joyce. Guys like that, man, at some point, it's like, it's funny because Joe Joyce, aside from having a soft-ass voice, he doesn't talk with slurred speech and all that. He kind of, he still speaks well, but at some point, it's just like, yeah, you see things differently. And I know I can't be the only one seeing what I saw in Canelo. Like, yeah, that wear and tear is showing, man. So, but hey, man, you got all the belts at 168. You still in there, and like he's not washed up. But and I just think it sucks. Like I said, man, that he goes in there and then loses. Look, can't make these excuses. You take the fight, you go in there, and hey, it's on you. But I just know, she's like this. If Benavidez is the guy that the majority want to see with the belt, then maybe the majority will say, yeah, he beat Canelo, and he's the new, and the fact of him being Mexican as well, that he may be accepted, he's going to be accepted by many, but because they're both Mexican, he might have people upset with him because he beat Canelo. Like when Holmes had beat Ali, right? And people hated him for that. So type of thing where they may, if he's the one, that's how it goes in boxing, to make my point. If you who the people want, the majority is going to say, nah, man, he won. He's the new king of boxing or whatever they want to call you. But if you're not what the majority want, then they'll make excuses for the hero that you just dismantled and say in his prime you wouldn't beat him and all that kind of stuff. And but look, Bivol already beat the brakes off him once. And at the end of the day, when it comes to it, when do you look? I remember it was times against Golovkin in the first fight. You seen Canelo back on the ropes several times, and against Bivol, you seen him go to the ropes several times. When Canelo goes to those ropes and stay there, he has no answers for what you're doing, and he's trying to catch your shots and cover up. And it just shows you he has no footwork, no lateral movement, no feints, no counter off the feints, no check hooks. He doesn't do any of that shit. And I'm watching him and I'm just sitting there like, he is so one-dimensional. Do you think that that's going to beat Dmitry Bivol or Arthur better beat him? Honestly, the way he fought, what he has right now, he won't beat, this Canelo will not beat David Morrell. And I'm saying it that way because David Morrell, he's no slouch at all. But David Morrell is like people still who, I don't really know him. That same Canelo that was in there that couldn't get rid of Ryder, nah, he won't beat David Morrell. He won't beat Benavidez. And he damn sure won't beat Bivol. So, anyway, it's just time, man. It's called changing of the guard, man. And, it's a process of where I think they're going to try to help him to hold on to those belts as long as he can, but it gets to the point where he has to fight a mandatory. Like I said, hopefully, if that does happen, they don't try to pick some meatball just so he can, hold on to the belts longer and then deny people their shots. Hopefully, Canelo says, nah, we don't need to do that. I want Benavidez, I want Morrell, whatever. Now, he want to do a rematch with Plant afterwards. It's still up. What an exit strategy would this be? Bivol, Benavidez, Morrell, Andre. I'm not going to say Jamal Charlo because Jamal Charlo is still holding on to that belt at 160 and doing absolutely nothing right now. So, I don't see that fight happening. So, it is what it is. Anyway, y'all, Talk to me in the comment section. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.